Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kagekaze, and we are looking at Battlefield 3. Now, I gotta tell you, thanks to the Diablo 3 beta and then subsequent release thereof, it's been probably a good 6 months or so since I actually gave Battlefield any love. It's kind of a shame, really. I was enjoying Battlefield 3 for a while. Another reason that I kind of steered away from it near the end there too was it was taking a very, very long time for them to release some update patches for balancing fixes that was making life fairly difficult. I enjoyed flying, I enjoyed other parts of the game as well, but there were long periods of time that I liked to actually be in the air in a helicopter supporting my team. Whether it was extremely useful or not, it was fun for me, and it just got severely imbalanced, and it's gotten fixed. They did eventually fix it. They also released one of the expansion packs, Close Quarters. That wasn't enough for me to really come back to, though, especially with Diablo out. So I was playing that instead. But however, the next expansion, Armored Kill, is getting set to come out, and that's the one I'm really interested in. That's the massive vehicular combat version. And so I decided to go ahead and purchase Battlefield 3 Premium. So, Battlefield 3 Premium, honestly, I have to say, this is a pretty neat idea on their part, and I like the fact that it offers quite a bit of content for minimal price, really. They give you quite a bit in this premium service. So if you get Battlefield 3 Premium, then you're paying for, of course, all 5 expansion packs. Now that also includes Back to Karkin, which you got if you got the limited edition when the game came out. But you're also going to get the others. You're going to get Close Quarters, Armored Kill, Aftermath, and In-Game. You also get a few extra features such as dog tags and camos and skins, a few extra what they call assignments, things for you to do in the game to unlock new camo skins. And of course each expansion has new weapons. Armored Kill is going to feature new vehicles, which is what I'm looking for, including the AC-130. So that's what's really going to get me back in there. And you're basically paying for these expansions that cost about $75 in total, because each one's about $15. If you have Back to Karkin, then it's obviously less. But you're paying for about $40 with Premium. Which, I'm sorry, $50. $50 with Premium, $49.99. Pretty good deal, especially when you think about all the expansions. They actually break it down on their page. You get 20 maps, 20 weapons, 10 vehicles, 4 additional game modes, 30 assignments, 20 dog tags. Obviously, there's no really new vehicles in Close Quarters. It's all centered around Close Quarters maps, which the footage in the background, by the way, is from Close Quarters, and this is the Gunmaster mode, which if you ever played gun game from Counter-Strike, you're a bit familiar with. Which I had a bit of fun with. A bit rusty, obviously, but it was definitely good fun to me. The maps that they have, these 4 new maps, are very interesting. Multi-layered, you know, being 2 to 3 floors each, but they feel more like a map you might play in maybe a Call of Duty or Counter-Strike or something like that. But they're a bit more layered, and there's a lot more destruction, which makes it a bit more interesting and still makes it its own unique game. But still looking forward to that. Now, the big news here about Battlefield, though, wasn't so much that I wanted to talk about Premium, even though I think Premium is a fairly decent service and value, especially since you only pay for it once. Please keep that in mind. If you're comparing it to Elite for Modern Warfare, it's different. As far as I know, Modern Warfare's Elite service is a charge an annual fee, I believe, but this one is a one-time cost. Both of them offer decent services, but this one is pretty much, honestly, Premium, you're just paying for it. It's just, they're asking you to bundle your expansion packs and buy them all at once. But what's interesting here is that we haven't gotten all of the expansion packs. We just got Close Quarters. Armored Kill's not out yet. There's 2 more after that, Aftermath and In-Game. And yet already there is news of Battlefield 4. I don't know how I feel about this. I love the Battlefield franchise. I have loved it since 1942. I did not play 2142, unfortunately. At the time, I couldn't afford it and didn't really have the time. And once I eventually got into it, I had no idea what I was doing amongst a sea of people that had already ranked up. So I didn't get to enjoy that one as much. But all the others I really played and enjoyed. And I feel kind of conflicted on this. You know, on one hand, you know, I know a lot of studios start working on the next game not terribly long after they finish the first. Sometimes even before they finish it, they start planning. They don't, you know, they aren't programming and doing assets yet, but they are kind of doing, throwing storyboards around and figuring out what concepts you're going to have. That's completely different. So we haven't even seen the end of Battlefield 3, and we're already hearing of Battlefield 4. And what are we hearing Battlefield 4? Well, there's going to be access to the Battlefield 4 demo. Or, sorry, beta. You're going to be in the beta for Battlefield 4. How do you get in this beta? Well, right now you have to pre-order Medal of Honor Warfighter, which is the new game using the Frostbite 2 engine, which is the same engine that Battlefield 3 uses. So, it's a very different game. Not vehicular combat, it's all infantry based. So it is a different game, but it features the same engine, the same destruction that Battlefield 3 uses. So that's interesting. So you can actually see what other options that this engine is capable of. So Warfighter looks like it could be neat, but I'm going to be quite honest with you. I'm not interested in it. I have not really been interested in Medal of Honor. For a while, I played the original Medal of Honor, and then Call of Duty did it better. Originally. And now Call of Duty has gotten into sequelitis, where they're making, you know, games every year, and then they kind of fell out of favor, and I haven't really cared about them as much. I loved Modern Warfare, didn't really feel one way or the other about Modern Warfare 2, but I still like Battlefield because that's a completely different game. You've got, you know, your air and your land vehicles, your tanks, and your infantry game, all happening in one map usually. So, but I'm still tempted to get Warfighter because that would give me access to the Battlefield 4 beta, and that's something I would like to be able to provide here. You know, for anyone that doesn't want to pre-order that, I could get footage out of Battlefield 4 once I get into that. But I just really, again, don't know how I feel about that, because one thing that Battlefield had before was kind of longevity. You had Battlefield 1942, which survived on the game just being out there, and then you had mods like Desert Combat, which the game thrived after Desert Combat came out, and you get Vietnam, which came did all right. I didn't think it was as good, but it had mods as well, like Point of Existence, that I played the heck out of. You had mods like Project Reality showing up for 1942. You know, I think that one's still being updated, or at least was not that long ago. I mean, we're talking about years after the game's release. Battlefield 2 had, in and of itself was a great game, and it's got some mods on it. Even Point of Existence had a new version for Battlefield 2. You had several other mods. I don't know them all, unfortunately. I didn't get to play a lot of them. I just know the ones that I played, and that happened to be Point of Existence was one of my favorites. So here we are, Battlefield 3, and before the game's even done, we're getting word of another one. No real news on it, though. I mean, that's the thing, is when they announced this, they're talking about how they want to keep producing a great game, and they're happy about where things have been. But we don't even know if it's going to be a new engine. Is it going to still be Frostbite 2? It's a possibility. But unfortunately, I don't have any information to share because they don't have anything to give us. In fact, they probably won't until they finish in-game. So we'll have to see. But that, I think, is the interesting part here. So, yeah. If you're interested, then I would say, hey, go. And if you're interested in Medal of Honor Warfighter, I'd say go pre-order it. You might have to do that from Origin, which, okay, I'm going to be honest, I don't like Origin. I like Steam. I don't like Origin. If Origin improves, it could be good. They want to be bigger than Steam. Not sure they're going to get there, but hey, if they want to try, that's great. That's competition. Problem is, a lot of people are already on Steam, already have libraries on Steam. I don't think they want to give up Steam for another service that does the same thing. But hey, it's an option. I don't like being forced to have to use it. But then again, Valve kind of did that with Steam, so can I really complain? I suppose I can't. Simply because, by nature, it's the same issue. pardon. Okay, so if you're interested, pre-order Medal of Honor Warfighter. You get that on Origin, and I will pull up the pre-order specs here so I can kind of tell you. Pre-order it for about $59.99. That will secure your access into the Battlefield 4 beta, and then you can get a decent game out of Warfighter. It looks decent. Who knows? Maybe if I get it, I might like it. And Warfighter will be coming out in October. October looks like 23rd for the US, or 26th for the UK, and all other PAL regions the 25th. So, all right. Well, that's it for the Battlefield news so far. Rather interesting. Like I said, not exactly sure how I feel about it just yet, but I'm looking forward to getting. I'm not even going to worry about it, honestly. I'm looking forward to the expansion packs before, as they come out. I don't know anything about the other expansion packs because they haven't given us any information. Armored Kill's all we know about, and that one's looking spectacular. Huge maps. They're telling us there's going to be huge maps, and they keep talking about El Alamein and Fouché Pass. I mean, these are what a lot of people consider the gold standard for huge Battlefield maps. And I would love to see a return to that. Because some of the maps in Battlefield 3, even though they're said they're large, they don't feel as large sometimes, especially when a lot of the vehicles move a lot quicker in Battlefield 3 than some of the older games. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and especially the AC-130, see how that plays out. I would love to try out this new artillery unit. They're going to return to artillery in the game. And I'd also like to see how the air vehicles factor in. See if the helicopters can do well. With the larger map, it's easier to kind of steer out of the line of sight of jets. Hopefully it will be anyway. I'm telling you, I like flying helicopters. It's fun. And I do admit that there were some balancing issues with helicopters. I'm not one of the fly guys that says it was perfectly balanced, but at the same time, for a lot of instances, they weren't as overpowered as a lot of people thought, because I could shoot them down. I knew how, but also I knew how to do it because I was a pilot. Of course, there was that issue where you could not lock onto them for a while, and then that became a pain in the butt. But a lot of that's been fixed, like I said. So, okay, guys, like I said, if you're interested, check out Origin for EA, and pick yourself up a pre-order of Medal of Honor Warfighter for Battlefield 4 beta access. And I'm looking forward to Armored Kill. I'll probably put something out when it comes out to, kind of give my impressions on Armored Kill and see how it affects the Battlefield franchise. Alright, well, this is Kagekaze signing off. I'll see y'all again next time.